Yeah, bro. Ready to show force?
So there I was signing autographs at the airport. Oh, hold up. Are we on live? Never mind. Forget it, man. What's up?
Yeah.
No, so I was in third phase. It was at 2 a.m. in the morning, and one of the guys came. You know, like there's always a fire watch, and they're like these little foxes running around with like one eye.
Yeah.
They have one eye because like guys shot it with a BB gun. It's kind of sad. You know what I'm talking about? Those little foxes on the island. And I get woken up at 2 a.m. They're like, bro, the instructors want to see you in the instructor hut. I mean, the instructor hut is like a scary ass place, and they're because they're always drunk, you know. And so this guy tells me to go to the instructor hut, and I go there. I'm like, dang, man. And so I like bang on the instructor hut. They're like, proceed, you know, come in here now, Watson. And I'm like, oh man. And they're like, grab a beer out of the refrigerator. And I was like, no, I'm good. You know, I thought it was a test.
Yeah.
And they're like, I said grab a beer, dog. And I was like, and they're drunk, dude. I'm like, oh, no. I grab a beer, and they knew me from Blackwater. And so it wasn't like I was getting any fate.
Guys, they're training that
There
was
a
a grapevine.
Yeah, there was a team from SDV, and then there was a couple instructors that either knew me from Blackwater or like got the word from the first phase instructors, like Vargas, Cheswitt, and those guys. And so they got me drunk, bro, in the instructor's hut, and it was pretty freaking fun.
Yep.
You know, it wasn't like I was getting.
Yeah, but it's like you're mixing it up, and you kind of get that pause from being student to peer,
you feel
to more like a peer.
You feel like your big brothers are helping you out, you know.
Yeah.
But man, but third phase a lot. Like I was going to ask you, man, what was the hardest phase? Because third phase for me, it wasn't the hardest, but like you would think it would be the best phase because it's on the island. You're like 8 weeks from the finish line.
Yeah.
But you've got so long to go, and I can remember guys like being like depressed in the third phase.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
Jimmy, man, how you doing, man? And you're like, I'm all right. How are you doing? You know, because you're just worn out. But what was the hardest phase for you think?
Dude, first was the hardest for me. Well, it's because I was like the run-in man, and I was just getting my dick smashed in the sand, dude. I mean, it was challenging because I also had that was my first military pipeline.
Right.
So I have no frame of reference of the fuck games, the duration, volume of even how I measure up. And because, man, I remember we talked, I was like, man, when I first went in, I'm like, man, I don't know how I measure up with any of this. So and I don't know if I have what it takes. I think anybody who goes in who knows they have what it takes is lying because you just don't know. You don't know what you don't know. And so that was hard for me. And I had, dude, my boots were a half size too small for in-dock. And then in the first week of first phase, I wasn't using sock liners. Somebody had said, hey, you can't use sock liners. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to use these shitty dive socks. And I got sand in them. Boots were too tight. And they just rubbed my feet like hamburger meat. And by the end of the first Friday, I looked at my feet, dude. They were so swollen. I had MRSA on my feet. So swollen. And I'm not like a dirty motherfucker, too. I was like trying to clean it with HIPAA and shit. It still wasn't working. I could not get my feet in my boots and lace them. They were like, I had to like cut down the sides and I had a guy be like, hey, dude, you got to go to medical. And so I'm dealing with that, right? I'm dealing with like healing my feet, and which was made first phase a lot harder. But dude, I thought third phase was pretty, I wouldn't say chill, but I thought it was unique because there's like magical moments out on that island where you're in with you're getting a little bit of taste. You got sunglasses on. It all sounds kind of elementary now, but it was cool then at least a little bit because now you're at least running around with a gun. It's hard. You're still getting smashed, running back from the range, but you're at least shooting. You're at least doing some small unit tactics on a
and
very.
You feel like you've made it. Like you've gone like light years. You've gone a long ways from the beginning.
Yeah, it's a long process, and then you're just really seeing behind the curtain with the instructors, and man, shit gets weird, bro.
Yeah.
It's a trippy ass experience.
Yeah. For me in first phase, man, you know how the cork starts coming out your boot.
Yeah.
And the boots are terrible. It's almost like they're squared off and they're like hitting parts of your toes.
Yeah.
And they just rip your toes to shreds. And I remember as I was running, all the cork was coming out of my boots. Like after the rubber's gone on your, the backside, the cork starts coming out. And as I was running, it was Hell Week. I can't, maybe like the third day of Hell Week, second day of Hell Week, I heard my foot just pop. It was like pop. Like, and I don't know
your actual foot?
Like my actual foot.
Yeah,
like the top
not the boot.
Yeah, the top the top of my foot.
Yeah.
And I started just like having this grotesque lip, And I'm thinking, dude, if I'm like running like this on the second day of Hell Week, it's like
you're like
it's like how
am I
like your mind is like, how can I make it this far, this with all this stuff going on? And so I think it was like the instructor Stark, he was like, hey, Watson, go to medical. And you don't want to go to medical. And I was like, no. And he was like, I said go to medical, And so it was nighttime, bro. And I don't know when this is in Hell Week, but we were about to go to the mud flats. The class was getting beat outside, and it was freezing. They had a newspaper clip. It was like one of the coldest winters since 1919 at the end of the course. I know everybody.
One of the coldest nights of all time.
Yeah, it was the coldest night ever. And I know people, I know everybody says that about it's the coldest night. But we actually had
But it really was.
But we had a newspaper clipping, man. Anyways, it doesn't matter. It was freezing, right? Instructors were like in parks and stuff. And before you go into medical, you have to take all your soaking wet camis off and put them in this bucket. Yeah. And when I put them in this like red bucket, it filled up with water. Like there was water in the bucket. And I'm just like, jackhammer. And I go inside medical. And the worst thing that they do, man, is they opened up this like oven and pulled out this wool blanket and wrapped it around me, and then put this hot beanie on me. And bro, I was like
nice and warm and toasty.
Dude, I instantaneously was falling in this like coma, like sleep. And they do this super quick, like fast, like X-ray your foot, and then you go sit down on this thing. And there was 3 other guys with me, and it was me and 2 other guys, one on each side of me. And I'm like this, waiting for the results. And I remember the doctor came up, and he was like, "Hey, you got to make a decision. You either join your class or you stay here." And I can remember this muffled voice, and I replied back. I says, "Is my foot broke?" And he goes, "Doesn't matter." He goes, "You either join your class or you stay here." And they were yelling at all 3 of us. Mm-hmm. And I remember I peeked out, and dude, because I was in such like this
unbelievably perfect.
I was in another place, right?
Yeah.
And I looked over barely, and these other 2 guys were like absolutely unresponsive. And I think that was the hardest decision that I've ever made. I mean, there's been some hard decisions, but that was one of the hardest decisions I've ever made, because I had to literally come, because who wants to even get out of the bed early in the morning, right?
Yeah.
And this is like, I'm going back.
on the next level.
I'm going back out with the class for all this time. My foot's just jacked up, and this hot blanket's on me. And bro, I literally had, and he goes, "I'm going to give you one more chance. Like, you either join your class or you stay here."
Yeah.
And I threw that blanket off, bro. I shook myself together, and I had to force myself physically to take a step forward and back outside. I looked at my camis in my bucket, and those 2 guys stayed, bro, forever. Yeah. And I looked at this bucket full of camis, and the instructor's like, "Hey, we got to go. Come on, you can join the class." And I was like, man, I was like, F it, bro. And I just grabbed all my stuff. I put it on. You put in these freezing I put it back on. But from that point on, that was that switch they talk about that gets flipped in your head. Like you hear about it. Like you got to have this switch flipped in your head to make it the rest of something's got to trigger in your brain to make it. But you're going to be brought to that point in your life where you think you cannot possibly take it another second. But once that goes off, everything seems to flow. And man, when I joined my class after that, it's like the pain was still there, but I didn't care anymore.
Yeah.
even won a boat race like with my boat crew, like running on the head, with the bonfire over there. Anyways, man, after that, it wasn't like it was easier, but I just didn't care anymore. And I knew from that moment on I was gonna pass.
What was wrong with your foot?
We'll join our regularly scheduled program after these messages.
Hey guys, this episode was brought to you by T1RX. Now, this pre-workout supplement, I know there's a lot out there, and I've tried probably like 20 or 30 of them, and I'm telling you right now, T1RX was not only created for our tactical community, but it was created by operators for you. So whether you're stacking those wins in your business, or you're stacking them plates in the gym, you want to get sliced, diced, jacked, racked, and stacked, get on that T1RX today. Make sure you go grab it today, man. They are mission focused, and I'm telling you right now, if I don't even know if I'm allowed to talk about what all is in it, because it's pretty dang incredible stuff. So go check them out right now. All right, so remember, T1RX is built to serve. It's mission ready. So go build your stack today at T1RX.com. Hey guys, when the mission is over, your mind's still spinning, whether you're about to go on an op or you're about to go to sleep, you don't need all that garbage, all those weird drinks. All you need is Halo. Halo is an odorless, flavorless THC mix that you can mix in whatever drink that you want. So make sure you grab that Halo today, all right? So unless you're operating heavy machinery or driving down the road, make sure you go to drinkhalo.com.
Return you now to your regularly scheduled program.
It was just fractured, man. The top of it was like those.
It was just fractured.
Yeah, it wasn't broke, but it was hairline fractured.
Yeah.
And I was, and when I called Buds a shithole in second phase,
yeah,
I pretty much got rolled for that.
Yeah,
because the instructor hated me after that, and but it gave my foot time to heal.
Yeah,
in second phase. Otherwise, man, I was in for a reckoning. My foot probably wouldn't have made it the rest of the time. But when I got rolled, I had time to recover the foot. But I got rolled because that instructor kept grabbing me in the pool, and I mean, I had a twisted strap, but he was like brutal with me because I called the.
Well, it was a gift, dude, because then you actually got a chance to kind of reset. Yeah. And then we ended up kind of linking. It's interesting how things kind of work out and timeline wise, and some of the guys that we know, dude. I had that disconnect between the mind and the body. People talk about it a lot, and it's like you really only know what is possible and what that tipping point is of what that disconnect. I mean, you see some crazy dudes out there like running 100 miles of races. Like, I ain't never done nothing like that. Yeah. But I knew that there was moments where I could keep my legs going just off of just sheer will.
Yeah.
Dude, my fucking dick hurt so bad in Hell Week, dude. You know how did you ever wear one of those cock socks that they gave people?
No, I never.
Bro, I don't know what.
But I did get my dick caught in a belt,
dude.
So I don't want to hear no.
Bro, I was like, I don't know what's going on, bro. I don't know if people know, but if you've been real cold, dude, like your dick's like a fucking scared turtle, bro. Like just absolute freezing, and it was like the sand and everything. It was. I was getting rubbed on. And dude, I had dick chafe like crazy. And dude, and it was fine when I was wet and like, but then you know when they give you that nap. So I had this weird moment, bro, where I'm sleeping in the dirt or in the cot or whatever for like an hour, Wednesday or whatever day it was, and it was my birthday, and I wake up and my body had that moment to heal, and it was like a wave of pain in my dick.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God. And my hip flexors were crushed. And I'm going, dude. And they're like, go hit the fucking surf. Everybody hit the surf. And so I'm running. And this dude comes over me who's a beast, still operating at the tip of the spear now. And he goes, hey.
And I go, what you're talking about.
And I go, hey. I go, what? He goes, this is from your mom. And I go, what? He hands me this like letter, dude. And it was a birthday card written by my mom that was just that he had buried in the sand
dude.
Sunday night. My mom told him to give it to me on my birthday. And it was buried in the sand. And it was like all fucked up. And it wasn't, but I could kind of tell. But he hands it to me while we're running out to the surf. And I go, and it was just this moment where it was like, dude, it was divine because I was so beat up, but it shook me out of my thing. And I running down the thing. I'm like, I have a birthday card from my mom that my homie buried Sunday night, knowing that we were going to be going through it. And that was an interesting shift for me because I was in my pity party. Yeah. Thinking about my dick and my fucking hip flexors, and I'm running and I'm going, all right, man, I guess we're just in this, bro. This shit's like hilariously ridiculous. So let's just keep it moving. That was a powerful moment.
Yeah, you hit a point where you just don't like care anymore. And there's but there's a point, man, that I've seen that a lot of guys have to hit. Like there's a point where you literally are gonna break in half. Like, well, not literally, but you're gonna break in half, right? And then if that switch goes off, it's like everything starts to flow. You don't care anymore, and that's when you see the classes laughing and flipping off the instructors towards the end because nobody cares anymore. The instructors know that they can't do anything else to the guys. Like after like Thursday, it's pretty much over, man.
Yeah, well, they know who's who in the zoo, dude. It was cool for us for our closing. We had the Secretary of Defense close us out. And
dang, man, we didn't get nothing like that.
Yeah,
man.
dude, Robert Gates, man. And so we were there. The Secretary of Defense came. So you imagine the dog and pony, and they were delayed. And so they were having us do rocking chairs in the surf while we were waiting for this dude who was like an hour and a half late.
Oh, what a jerk, man.
I don't know.
No idea,
and so we're doing rocking chairs, and they're going, seats. And some motherfucker goes, he said feets. he said feets. Everybody stand up. They're like, I said seats.
No, I said seats. Rocking chairs are terrible because you go back like this, and the salt. They don't care, man. The salt water is just flowing down your nasal passages and out. In STV, it's even worse, man. I have like sinusitis for life, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna end up hacking into SDV with you at some point.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun.
I got a ton of questions on SDV, bro, dude. But when I had my second phase, man, we're talking a lot about buds on this, but it's fun, man, because we don't ever really shoot the shit about it.
We don't talk about buds a lot, dude.
Dude, when I went into, of all things, dude, it was first phase, and Marcus Capone, shout out Marcus, he was my instructor.
He's cool, man.
For knot tying, right?
Yeah,
and so,
cool.
so I go down and I'm like, I'm on a breath hold, and I'm like, oh, focus, and I just didn't do the procedure. I didn't ask to go down,
yeah.
And so I go down, and I'm
all
like,
these procedures,
and I'm gonna tie 2-3 knots at once, and then so I'm tying one knot, and I'm like waiting, and I tie another knot, and then I look up, and he's just looking at me, and he goes,
oh, dude.
And I went, damn, and so I come up, and now my rhythm's all fucked up, and so I'm like, he goes, go back down. I'm like, I go down. And there was just no. So I failed knot tying. So I had to go back and redo knot tying. And I'm going, dude, am I going to get rolled for fucking knot tying, dude? Like some of the easiest shit. And I had multiple things like that. I had the O course in second phase, which, because people talk about, oh, man, what you did in buds, but I'll talk about the failures, bro. So I had my failures. And this goes to show you, you can lose the battles and not the war, right? Yeah. And I saw some guys who had, we all know them, solid triathletes, Olympians, all this shit. And motherfuckers like that don't experience a lot of failure. I've had a lot of failures in my life. So these small battle failures, I call them. I failed knot tying, had to go back, redo it like weeks later, passed. But I also failed a run in first phase, I think. Yeah. And so I was like, oh, okay, I failed an O course in second phase. And because I slipped off, I was just smoked, dude. I did a couple of things wrong, a couple obstacles, and my forearms were smoked on like the end, and I fell off something. And from that point on, what I did was every O course, I got up super early before we ate, and I would go tape up all the bars. Dang. Dude, I would get up and tape all the bars, so I was like not gonna slip off. And just that one thing, bro, knowing that I had. Maybe it was psychological, but I think it was actually physical. Just because I knew there was fresh athletic tape on those bars. Yeah. When I would go and do them. Yeah, and I just had more stick, and it just every little thing I could do. Because, dude, I was so terrified at failing and ended up on a ship. People that know and don't know, if you roll the dice and go into buds, dude, there's no like failing and then you still get a gun, really, or they're gonna deploy on.
We'll join our regularly scheduled program after these messages.
Man, let me tell you, ghost bed. Sleep so good, it's scary. Man, you want to wake up terrified, bro, because of how good you slept, man? Let me tell you what. Ghost bed, dude. I like that name, too, man. Like that name. Ghostbed.com, promo code OTHER for that solid discount, man. Let me tell you, you and I both know what not sleeping well and not sleeping for days is like, man. Days, weeks. Don't let that psychosis slide in there because you don't have that ghost bed, man. You got.
There's nothing worse than not being able to sleep because you're on some piece of crap mattress.
Grab that ghost bed. Once again, ghostbed.com, promo code OTHER. That's OTHER, man.
Like being suspended in space. Ghost bed.
Revenge is an act of passion. Vengeance is an act of justice. Injuries are revenged. Crimes are avenged. Almost a century ago, big pharmaceutical companies re-engineered medical school curriculum and faculty with one goal: putting profit before progress. Anyone pushing back against the medical matrix they carefully crafted was threatened, silenced, censored, financially ruined, or worse. They are the problem. We are the solution.
You're clear to engage. Initials Mike Juliet Alpha. You're clear to engage with weapons. You're clear to engage with weapons.
Return you now to your regularly scheduled program.
I think that's the big. I think that's the biggest difference that I don't hear a lot of people talking about with, going to Green Berets or going SEALs or should I go here or whatever, is like if you fail buds, the biggest drawback is that you're
undesignated.
You're doing freaking flutter cakes and you're staring at like ships out in the ocean, and the instructors are like, "Hey, we're looking for our next quitters today," because you're going there to scrub barnacles, bro.
Yeah, we talked a little bit. We talked a little bit about it on Anti-Hero, bro, and it was, you're haze gray and underway. At least when you go into a Green Beret pipeline or something. Say something happens, you get an injury, man, you can still go airborne. You can still do other stuff. You still go infantry and still have really cool experience. But
in the Navy, bro, you're
undez, dude, man. It was terrifying for me because it was absolutely not. But I had no other option, so I was like kind of divine intervention going into that shit without no plan B, dude. I had zero plan B. My plan B was making sure plan A worked, dude. That was all I had.
My sister sent me an email a while back, and I forgot I even sent this to her. And it was like, "Hey, Sarah, I'm going. I failed at O course. My right bicep feels like it's torn. Like I literally felt like my right bicep was like torn. I've always had some issues and with it. And we went out there, and I literally didn't know how I was going to get through this massive O course and literally like hang on to the they call the spider wall now at the end, because I just literally my arm was failing, but I had to and I told her, but I'm gonna go do it or like die trying. And I know that sounds kind of cliche, but I was die hard, and I went and did it, man. And like you said though, there was a run I failed. The water pushed us up onto the soft sand that day,
bogging down.
We woke. You go out there at 4 a.m. to run these beach runs, and they're timed, man. They're already pressing these big guys. I was always getting gooned.
Yeah,
dude.
I lived in the goon squad, bro.
I lived in the goon squad, and that water's pushing you up on the soft sand.
Yeah, dude.
And I'm like, no, dude, and it pisses you off, bro.
Dude, I would see motherfuckers out smoking cigarettes before our 4 mile time runs,
bro,
and I'd be like, damn, man, dude. I was like, man, I'm so jealous, bro. I had dudes push me. I could swim though, so I would guide. Yeah. I could guide like a motherfucker, dude. So I would have dudes who could run straight up push me. I didn't ask for it, but you know how the class kind of turns into a cohesive unit at some point. I needed it, man, because there was definitely runs if I didn't have help, like somebody pacing me, because like my turnover rate's not good. My gait on sand's not great, and so it's
We're
like
just big dudes.
Yeah, you're just
it requires oxygen to feed this muscle, bro.
Dude, it's so much oxygen, bro. Dude, we had a guy, and he went to medical for something. I just remember these small moments. He went to medical, and 2 guys went to medical, and 2 come back, and we're out at the O course, and there was this, I won't say this instructor's name, but he would blast people, like smash people under the boats.
Like physical,
and he was a hard motherfucker, and he goes, hey, and one guy comes back with a chit, a limp dick shit, a limited light duty, and one guy comes back ready to go. And he goes, you 2, why did you 2 go to the medical for the same thing? And one comes back with a limited light duty chit, and one comes back, and this is that savage motherfucker I told him about. And this dude looks at him, and he goes, that's because I swing more meat, instructor. That's what he said.
Bro, that's
and he goes, dude. All right, come back with your class, bro. And I still remember that dude was the real deal, bro. You know how they say, oh, you never know who is going to pass and who. There is some truth to that. But I'll tell you what, there's also some truth with there's some dudes who show up where you're like, oh, this motherfucker's gonna pass, bro.
Yeah,
and he absolutely does. And then
there was that, and then
those guys operate.
Yeah, the statistics are basically like guys that they try to stop letting guys come through twice, because if a guy quits, statistically, and then he comes back through, but we know some hard dudes that actually this happened.
Yeah.
But if they come back through, they generally quit. And you'd think it would be opposite. You'd think, man, if I quit something and I know it already, I know all the timed evolutions, I know how long they're going to freeze me, then you think you'd have an advantage. But once you quit something, there's something psychological that happens. It just it makes other guys quit. And we had some solid dudes. Like I had to make new friends. That was one of the questions from our audience, by the way, is like, was there anybody that surprised you that they made it or opposite? And man, I'll tell you, at the end of Hell Week, bro, when that sun finally came out, they turned us around and secured us. I looked around, and a lot of the guys that I befriended and buddied up with, because I thought they were going to make it, they were just they were studs. They didn't make it. Some of them, of course, did. But there was a lot of guys that I was like, dang, man, I judged that dude wrong.
Yeah.
A lot of times we judge people wrong in this life,
Bro, I was humbled a lot of times because you have some of those steel marshmallows. Guys you look at, guys who you look at and you're like, oh, this dude can't do nothing. He'll just smoke check you on every single thing. I had a lot of those guys, those like Fedor Emelianenko looking motherfuckers that just look like
favorite
nothing.
Fighter all time.
Yeah, dude, just straight up crush. There was a lot of those dudes, and I would say disappointed, but also kind of just shocked at this one cat. He quit on Steel Pier. Steel Pier is this evolution where you go and would tread water. He quit on Steel Pier 2 years before. Had gone in the Navy. He'd been in the Navy for a while. I think he was a second class or something. Comes back, and I don't know if he had some psychological break with this thing or like this buildup, but all through Bud's prep, all this stuff, he was a pretty good athlete. And then we show up to Steel Pier. Motherfucker quits on Steel Pier again. And I'm like, bro,
that's crazy.
It's just treading in the cold. It's not that weird of an. It sucked, but it didn't be that bad.
I think what happens, man, is guys just it happens. It happens sometimes to me still. Like you start thinking about tomorrow. Like I'll never forget, man. This guy was like, man, I got a word from you, man, from God. And I don't. Sometimes I don't listen to these things when people say that. But I was like, what's up, dog? He said, God told me to tell you, God's got your tomorrow. And bro, I almost broke down because that morning I woke up and I was worrying about tomorrow. Man, y'all, God's got your tomorrow. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's powerful.
And what happens is, like you said, like people in Hell Week, and a lot of guys, and you can learn a lot from this stuff, man. In SEAL trade is people. You're in the pain train, and what helped me out is I knew it was going to end. That was that prior Marine and Blackwater experience. Yep. I knew it was going to end, and so I knew no matter how bad it got, it was going to end. But if I started thinking about tomorrow, if you start thinking about like securing in 4 days, and you've only made it 2 days in Hell Week, man, you're in for the pain train. And I think that's what happened with that guy probably on the Steel Pier. He's like, dude, I just don't want to do this.
Yeah, it wasn't that evolution. And a lot of people, they quit the statistics are you quit before an evolution or after, not during.
Nobody ever quits steering, man.
Yeah, and
nobody ever quits the run. They don't stop on the run.
No,
they go across, throw up, and then quit.
I've almost, dude. Every step of every run, I would go, I want to quit, 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 I want to quit. I was like, I don't know if I can keep this pace, man.
Dude, I got a text last night from this cat that I was helping out. I try to help out guys just like you, man, with buds and like encourage them. And sometimes I'll be like, no, bro, don't go to SEALs, go to Green Berets, or no, maybe you should go to SEALs. You know, I like
give them a correct guidance
because you don't want to like guide them into something that's just going to be terrible. Like you don't have to enjoy swimming, but it's a lot of freaking water. And so, but a guy texted me last night. He said, hey man, I want to be a SEAL, you know, and I'm going in this program, but I sprained my ankle. What should I do? Like, I need some encouragement from you, some motivation. I said, welcome to the SEALs, bro. Like, this is going to be your life. Is you getting broken. That's the problem. Anybody can go through some pain and some training, but do you have the fortitude to say, all right, man, I'm taking it day at a time. I'm gonna swing at this big tree one time every day with this axe. And do you have the ability to take it hour at a time, lunch at a time, and just work through the pain, work through the brokenness? Because it's all tickles and pickles, man. And then you get, then you pull a hammy. Like, what you gonna do?
It's easy when you're good. Dude, like Benjamin Franklin said, dude, many strokes fall great oaks. And it's these small little just getting up, putting your foot in front of the other. It's that kind of cliche, just keep going. Yeah. But 100%, it doesn't matter when it's easy. Who are you when the shit starts to get hard? And we always like to relate it back to some fucking relatable shit about life, right? Because it's like we could.
That's what people want to hear stories.
We could shoot the shit about buds, but it's like, what lessons do we draw? And that's why I think it's military selections and things are very powerful, because it's like this crucible of compressed black dark matter of learning and wisdom that you learn in these compressed crucibles, and it's watching others, seeing how others react when the chips are down, and we're dirty. Now we're cold. Now they were stud athletes, but now it's not optimal conditions. Okay, well, that's life, bro. Hey, guess what? Your chick just broke up with you. Guess what? You just lost your job. You fucking were on a good sick one with working out. Now you injured your shoulder. Okay. Or you had a bad night, made some bad decisions, which we've all done, right? Okay, now what? Are you going to continue your fucking program? Are you going to crawl up in the field position? Are you going to continue digging into that hole? Or are you just going to reset, put one foot in front of the other in the fucking direction you know you're supposed to do it, and go and keep fucking going? That's it. Don't overthink this shit. This shit is simple, but it's not easy, right? It's simple.
It's so simple. It's freaking complex.
Yeah.
That's the problem. It's like with shooting. It's so simple, but you master the fundamentals, and then you become a great shot. But when you overthink it, your grip is too tight, your side alignment's off, your right eye, left eye dominance trying to take over. It's so easy that we, especially men, we make things really complex. We're thinking about our girl. We're thinking about the next thing. We're thinking about this and this and this. It's stressing out. Abraham Lincoln said, give me 4 hours to chop a tree down, and I'll sharpen it for 3 and cut it down with the last hour. So you got to sharpen your mind and your body and everything about you. Cut that dang tree down with the last hour, but prepare yourself. But man,
What's that preparation, though? That preparation.
All kinds of stuff.
The preparation starts before, man. It starts with really understanding yourself.
Yep.
Understanding what you want. If you don't show up to a place or a program or a job or a relationship that you don't fucking really want, because then you're out of alignment. You got to make sure that you're aligned with your destiny and what you want. And because Jim Rohn, we're throwing out some quotes today, man. If the why is clear, the how is easy, which I really like, man, because then it's okay. It doesn't really matter what I have to do.
Yeah.
This is where we're at, and this is what we're doing, man. And also, in that knowing yourself, it's knowing what you need, bro. Want to tell you, thank you to our sponsor, HP-TRT.com, Human Performance, code OTH20. use that, man. Know what you need, man. Just be aware. At least do your blood work so we get, you get some good clarity on shit.
And don't be talking trash about TRT and you're sitting there eating a bag of Cheetos and drinking Coke, man. I mean, I'm the same with everybody. I have my cheat meals. I like to snack around with my Doritos, my Cheetos. But I ain't talking trash
burritos.
about burritos, Cheetos, Doritos, burritos.
All the O's. Churros.
But don't be talking trash about TRT and you're sitting there filling your body with a bunch of just garbage. I'll tell you what, man. Yeah, if y'all, I talk to a lot of guys that are already on TRT. They're like, I'm already on TRT. Yeah, but are you on HP-TRT, man? Are you on that human performance TRT? Because it's all about quality.
Yeah,
it's all about taking all of the other stuff and being lined up on a very specific
tight regimen, bro.
Program.
Yeah, knowing what you need. Knowing what you need, dude. That's the key here, man, to take away from all this. This was kind of a Buds kind of breakdown, which was kind of funny. I like this because we don't even really plan what we're going to talk about. We just kind of start shooting the shit.
Let's talk about how my penis got caught at a belt sander, man.
Yeah, we're going to get into all that, man. So stand by for Dick's Cotton Belt Sanders,
you want to talk about pain, bro.
Stand by. Love y'all.
See ya.
Be smart.